When we look back at our images with hindsight, we almost always recall the experience of making them. And I also remember the amount of work it took to create them. And usually, the harder it was to make, the more satisfying it becomes in the end. So today's video begins because of a very simple idea. An idea for an autumn project that set me on a journey that has probably changed my photography forever. Before we get going today though, this video is sponsored by MPB. If you want to buy, sell or trade your gear, do it with MPB. You join me on an absolutely stunning morning. It is raining, or it just started raining, which is annoying, but we've got some beautiful foggy conditions. But I want to get into some woodland to try and very simply make a nice woodland shot in foggy conditions and talk through a little bit about how we can use these conditions to our advantage in woodland photography and what it takes to get here or make good pictures, something like that. Anyway, so I'm walking around looking for something to photograph and put something interesting within the four walls of my frame, tell a story of the landscape. Really what I'm doing is looking for something that just grabs my attention. That could be an interesting piece of light, which is not going to be the case today. It could be an interesting subject or weather conditions or anything like that. But right now, I am really, really attracted to this scene behind me. It's actually starting to get quite wet now. It all looks fantastic, but like I've said so many times before, when we're making photography, we're bringing the 3D world down into the 2D world, and to do that we've got to deal with things like shape and form and lines that with our 3D vision look great, but when you bring them down onto that single plane don't always look so good. I've taken the image with my phone, I will show you that here, and I really don't like it. Not everything works. Not every beautiful scene that you see will work in a photograph, and I think that's always an important message to remember, because otherwise you'll just think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I make a good image out of that? And sometimes it's not possible. Maybe someone else could, and that's fine, but I know that I don't think I will be able to, so I think I'm just going to move on. Do you know, the thing is, I'm no different to anyone else. I find woodland photography really, really difficult. And I know that you looking at this video now, you're going to see probably multiple compositions that will make great photos. But right at this point in time, I can't see it. And I know when I look back at the video, I'll see it too. It's super frustrating. But for ages, I've been wanting to make, I've had in my mind this kind of panoramic image with some beautiful autumnal trees, maybe a nice bit of light, but something really moody or uplifting, I suppose, that creates this sense of well-being when you look at it, and it'll create a sense of fulfillment when I make it. I can sort of pre-visualize what I want this image to look like in my mind, and I thought today was going to be the day. I'm feeling defeated already. And there's just so much water. I'm absolutely soaked. I'm struggling to even hold on to the tripod to talk to you, but right, I think I'm just going to shoot something. Right, so I am set up for a shot. I have popped the 24 to 70mm lens on, and I'm zoomed in to around 40mm, so I can zoom in on this little cluster of trees here, remove the sky just by zooming in, and then it creates that beautiful kind of magical woodland type feeling where it feels like you're enclosed and you're surrounded by the trees, that sort of feeling that is really, really nice when you're out in the woods. I particularly love the colour, and I've chosen this cluster of trees because of that slightly lower branch to the right hand side there, which has got all those lovely yellows and oranges and beautiful autumnal colours in there, and that's just giving a nice lower set of leaves, because all the other leaves that you can see are much higher in the trees. So if I get in close to that bark, where, well, like this bark here, look at this, just so much beautiful texture for the image. If I get close into that, the leaves are right up there and it just doesn't work. The panorama, that's not going to happen today. It's just not going to happen. It's proving to be a very difficult image to create. It's in my mind and I want it to come out. But that's not going to happen today. But I am happy with this. I think I'm happy. Texture, colour, a really nice mood. So I'm at f8, I'm at ISO 400 because I don't want the shutter speed to be too slow. I'm at 1/6 of a second at the moment, which with the current very still conditions is going to be fine. Like I've said so many times, with woodland photography, the challenge is to deal with the forms of the tree. There's so many forms, 3D objects in your scene are form, and there's so many trees and so many forms that it just becomes busy and chaotic. So managing to simplify the image, give it some depth as well, is very effective with woodland, is the actual trick to making a good image. That's why rainy conditions like this or foggier conditions, I do have a bit of mist around still, but I think probably most of it's rain now. That works because it separates your subject from the background, and that's what I have here. Whenever I shoot like this in the rain as well, people always ask me about the camera getting wet and why I don't use a lens hood. I have the lens positioned in such a way down and with the rain kind of going past it, so you can get close to it there. You can see there's not any drops on it, but what I will also do is get the 2-second timer going like that, give it a little rub, pull it away, and then let the camera shoot. I use my camera, this one particularly, the Canon 5D Mark IV, in the rain all the time, and it has never let me down. This one is not weather sealed at all, and it's absolutely drenched, and it's still going. It's saying something about an accessory on the, it's giving me an error message, which there are no accessories attached to it, so not sure what that's about. So I'm not sure how long this one will last, but like I say, it's not waterproof and it's still going. I always feel like it would be a shame to not be able to photograph conditions like this because you didn't want your gear to get wet. Most decent cameras these days have some weather sealing, so don't be afraid to use it. But like I say, I don't want to push you into taking risks that you're not comfortable with. I am composed. I kind of have it cropped in the viewfinder to cut out the sky. I may crop even further into a 16:9. I'm just going to go with a 2-second timer. I'm focused on just one of the branches. Yeah, I mean, there's some great colour in there, great contrast, great mood and feeling. I think it's a decent image. I'm not sure because woodland's difficult, but have a look and see what you think. The thing is, it's not exactly what I wanted. It isn't that kind of panoramic visualization which I had in my mind, but still, you can't complain when you capture an image like this. Right, so I'm set up for another shot, just as what sounds like an air raid siren going off. Can you hear that? In the current climate, that's not what you want to be hearing, is it? But there we go. Let's pretend that's not happening for a minute and we're out doing landscape photography. It is getting really wet now, but I walked past this like little canyon in what I think, like I said, is an old quarry, and it's just a lovely scene. So I'm not feeling particularly creative today. The conditions have got to me. It just looks beautiful. I'm at f11, ISO 100. Right, that is the Sony camera dead. The Canon is still going strong though, so I'm just going to capture that shot quickly. I also got one using the drone. Whilst I was filming some of that footage that you may have seen, or may see in a second, I think it's actually that little cluster of trees there. One of them's coming out of the cliff and just looked amazing. So I switched over to the stills camera on the drone and captured this image here. Yeah, it's just got to that point though where everything is completely soaked. My coat has breached, the camera has breached. So Well, I think it's time to call it a day. For now, this is not over though. I'm determined to get something, make this panoramic image, this autumnal panoramic image. But I think it's time to go and dry off. Right, it's half time and this is not over, but before we start the second half, as you know, this video is sponsored by MPB. Now, MPB is the world's largest platform to buy, sell and trade used photography and video kits. I recently decided to sell some of my gear that I've not used in ages, one of which was this Canon 17-40mm wide-angle lens. Selling it with MPB was extremely easy and removed all the faff I usually experience when selling gear. I just went on their website, hit the start selling button, typed in what I wanted to sell and told them the condition I thought it was in. MPB immediately gave me a quote that I was happy with and then provided me with a shipping label so I could send it to them fully insured for free. Alternatively, they will come and collect it from you. So I then boxed it up, shipped it to them, and a couple of days later they received the lens, checked it over and agreed that it was in excellent condition. Then all I had to do was give them my bank details, and a short time later the money appeared in my account. It's a brilliant service and I'm going to use them again very soon to sell my old Canon 5D Mark II, and at the moment that extra cash is going to come in very useful. So hit the link down below and check out MPB if you want to buy, sell or trade your photography gear. After the experience in the rain, I was feeling very dejected. I was a camera down, I didn't really like the images I'd made and pretty much forgot about the Pano project. But then 2 days later, I headed to the Lake District for an entirely new shoot. But the way I was feeling, I was convinced it was going to be another failure. But then right at the start, something happened that brought all of this video back to life. Right, so I've come across this little pond or small tarn here, which is a really lovely spot to be in, and it's attracted my attention. The way that sunlight is picking up the trees on the top of that hill, the light behind me there, can you see that's just absolutely beautiful, and then it's all around on the trees there, and that mountain backdrop and that slightly dramatic sky just make this scene really work. So I think the thing to do is extract that detail from the wider scene that I have in front of me. So the way I'm going to do that, because it's going to be it's a fairly panoramic amount of detail that I want to pull out, is to do a panorama, but that's causing me problems because I normally do panoramas with my 70-200, but I'm having to do it with 24-70 because if I go to 70mm, I'm in too close. Normally as well, I would do a panorama vertically, but I'm going to do it horizontally because I want to take less shots because the sun's coming and going so quickly. I need to make the panorama as quickly as possible to get that even light across the scene. It's really nice light as well because it's coming in from the side, really attractive, but because of the clouds up there, it's fleeting, as you can see, but we've got a gap here. Let's give it a go. So I'm not going to worry too much about the flare. Oh, see, it's gone already. It's gone already. That was one shot. Right, here we go. More sun. Let's just fire away. I'm at f11, 1/50th of a second, and I'm bracketing as well. I see this. Oh, it's coming again. Let's do that one again. It's going to be an absolute nightmare putting this together in post as well, because I'll probably end up stitching photos from different times that I've done the panorama. Come on, just hold for another minute. One more, I think. Come on, light. Is it still there? Oof, that was close. That could be good, that one. That could be good. But I really have no idea. That's the problem with doing panoramas in this way. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. It's visualized in my mind. That's the thing. Applying the technical aspects to that visualization in my mind is often the tricky part. So you saw the completed image there, but at the time of shooting, I really had no idea whatsoever if that was going to stitch together. I feel like really I got lucky from a technical point of view. So really I'm now seriously looking at getting an Arca Swiss head for my tripod to perfect that technical precision. But I was bracketing as well, so I ended up with a total of 24 images for what was 8 pano positions. Lightroom has a feature that allows us to combine HDR panos automatically, but I've never had any success with this before because any movement in the scene or with your lens nearly always spoils it, and you end up with all this really weird ghosting and fringing to your image. Anyway, here are the images. I also had to exclude the ones in grey because that's the one I repeated in the video when the light was better. So we just highlight the images, right click and select photo merge and then HDR panorama. Let Lightroom do its thing. And as you can see, I was off technically a little bit, but a warp and a crop soon had that sorted out. And then I edited the image to this to match that lovely warm light and autumnal feeling I was getting. I'm absolutely thrilled with the image, but the problem is that panos don't look good on screen. There is only one way, in my opinion, to present a pano, and that is to print it as big as possible. So here we go. So the print is coming out, as you can see there. And to be honest, this is always really a nerve-wracking moment because that's money being taken up there in that print, and if it goes wrong, it's a waste. And I don't like wasting time, money, or resources. It's exciting, but this is why I'm saying this is a difficult image to make, and the print is as much a part of that. The excitement is there though, there's no doubt about it. Have a look. So here it is. Can you see that? Is it not reflecting off the light too much? I am particularly thrilled with this, partly because it's been such a roller coaster, an emotional roller coaster, and it's taken about 3 or 4 weeks to produce this thing. Right, it's too big, so I'm going to put it down. So there is a lot of emotional and physical energy poured into this thing, but that's what I love though. If landscape photography was easy, then we'd get bored of it, and pieces of work like this would have no meaning. I'm also excited to say that you can now buy this print as part of my Continuum series. There are 10 of these available, and they will be on sale until Christmas or when they all sell out, whichever kind of comes first. They are all the same price this time, but please be warned, it's pretty big, so it's not going to fit on every wall, but will undoubtedly be a stunning gift for Christmas. It ships worldwide, rolled in a tube, and comes included with a little bottle of my blood, sweat, and tears. So please hit the link down below to check out the print, and every purchase helps make these videos possible. But I feel changed by this experience in a very positive way, and it has provided a deep sense of fulfillment and has left me with 2 thoughts. Firstly, although I think we should focus on the art, technical precision can be very important in certain situations, and panos and printing are 2 good examples of that, and the learning never ends. Secondly, making this image has served as a reminder of why I love photography and how I want to go about doing it. It is a creative endeavor that challenges us, punishes us at times, but also something that rewards us so generously. It gives us the opportunity to get outside, get some exercise, escape the chaos of the world, and communicate in such a positive way through the visual stories that we tell. It's genuine and it's authentic, and the body of photographs that you create is proof of the work and energy you have poured into it. And for me, that creates something true with real intrinsic value. It's raining really heavily now. The conditions are difficult. Yeah, I don't know how long it's going to last. It's this camera that's probably going to be the problem.